Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm back again immediately for part two. Immediately for y'all. Um, I did go to bed. I wanted to take a break from Dark Souls 3. And I think I've figured out my recording issues, so we're going to use, like, indiscriminate episode length, anywhere up to 30 minutes, probably. Alright, so that weapon we just picked up is the Deep Battle Axe. So it's got basically the exact same description because the infusion does nothing. But what we're looking at here early level, and why I'm recommending this to you guys if you're pumping vigor and endurance, is if you look at the bottom where it says attribute bonus, see how all the scaling goes away? So, in addition to a raw gem we're going to pick up fairly soon, this is another way to get your damage high. I doubt I will continue to use the battle axe until, I mean, maybe like post Undead Settlement we won't see any more of the battle axe, but it's only because I've used it for quite a while. But I think that you can get away with the battle axe, the deep battle axe, until I would recommend probably post Abyss Watchers. Same thing if you're using a raw weapon. Go ahead and use that raw one until post Abyss Watchers, and then use the Shriving Stone. I'm going to show you how to grab in the what's it called? The Road of Sacrifices, and you're going to use that to take it back to normal, because about that time, level 30, 40, post like Cathedral of the Deep, post Abyss Watchers is when you're going to want your weapon scaling back. Now, I know I just talked over that, but I'm not going to fight that Lothric Knight. He's pretty strong. I don't really see a point in killing this Lothric Knight unless you're trying to farm drops. I don't see a point in really killing any of the Lothric Knights in the high wall. We're going to grab this item. It will mean we're not able to plunge this guy here, probably. Oh, we got him. Alright, now we'll deal with that thief that chased us. That does also mean that we missed this guy, yep, right here, coming off the wall. Normally, if you run up and you don't grab that item, you come straight here, you can hit this here, that exact pillar, and this guy will fall down and die. And then you can do what I just did, which is I walked off, pressed R1 and turned at the same time, and you can hit that guy. Now, we saved these 6 firebombs, which is 1 too short, I believe, of killing this pus of man, but there's 3 right here. So as long as we don't miss very many of these, you can get yourself a free Ember and a free Titanite Shard without really having to deal with this guy. Also, this enemy will be rather loud. The pus of men are always, like, loud. But pulled out the shield specifically for this enemy here, and for this room we're going to save an NPC in here in a moment. It can be quite tricky to get out of that room alive. So what, we had 6 plus 3... Oh, we actually had just enough. I believe it takes 6, actually, not 7. So, if you use the same amount of firebombs I did, you might not even need those last 3 there. Alright, this is the raw gem from that crystal lizard that I've been talking about, but we're not going to use the raw gem. It won't be too long until I get the weapon I'm going to be using, so I probably won't be upgrading at all. I like to dodge, like that. And then if you come in here, hit this lantern man, and then... Oh. Then you chop up this guy behind this pot here, twice usually. This will get that Lothric Knight out of the doorway, yep. So then we can just grab this and roll straight through. So what we're coming over here to do is to free an NPC named Grey Rat. He's not in this area, but the key for his cell is right there, so we're going to grab that. There's also an Estus Shard on that anvil there, which I prioritize the most. And then there's an... Titanite Shard in that hole there, which I prioritize the least out of these 3 items. We also picked up some bundles, or not bundles, we picked up some of the grass, which we will use for stamina regen management later in the game. This right here is the Astora Straight Sword. We're not going to be using it, but it's alright if you're doing like a really all over the place build. And since we actually managed to save some firebombs, I'm going to take care of some of these guys without having to go down there. Hopefully we can get these can be a bit harder to hit. Ah, yep. Well, then let's just go for it. Alright, so first thing I like to do is rush this. Oh man, I haven't healed since I did all that dropping and whatnot. I know I said I usually prioritize the key first, but we're in a good spot here to get those guys exploded. So we're going to go ahead and just tank that so that they'll blow up. And then actually we'll take care of this axe man. That guy's so annoying, but we're just going to swing. Alright, now all that should be left, I got all the big guys and the dog. It's just this dog and this key. The trick I like to use for throwing those no-look fire bombs is just aim with the top of your head, or if you grab the binoculars from earlier, you can aim with those as well. Wow, he teleported after death. Did you guys see that? I swear I sent it up the stairs, but maybe I guess I dragged it or drug it back down with the backswing of the axe. I'm not really sure. We don't really have the souls to do or the health to do this, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyways. So we may die for this one. Normally I would fight this wing knight, but it looks like I wasn't very careful with my Estus, so we'll come back and fight him here in a moment. Right now we're gonna go open up a shortcut. Now, I don't grab this item on the left right at the start because that wing knight will rush that door. It's kind of a pain to deal with him with this guy around. I'm not actually sure if we have the health to grab this ring either, but we'll go ahead and go for it. I don't ever use these, but if you equip this ring, and then the next time you die, the ring will shatter, but it will make sure that you keep all of your souls. Although I don't believe... Yep. I thought we'd die there since we didn't get the roll, but that's alright. We'll run right back. Normally I would have just run for the shortcut, but I didn't want to forget that ring, so I just went ahead and grabbed that. It's not that far of a run either. Now we have the key, so we can actually grab Grey Rat before we run over there, because I'm not too worried about losing those souls. I know I still have the normal battle axe equipped, but I'll show you why here in a moment. We're going to put that deep battle axe in our offhand, and then we'll have our primary battle axe in our right hand, and then we'll be able to use bundles on the non-deep one and the deep one at the same time. There's not really any benefit to it. I just like dual wielding. I wish they would have brought power stancing back for Dark Souls 3, but I also think it's kind of goofy to use the double battle axes, so we're going to be using those. And actually, now that we're through that Grey Rat room, we don't need this shield at all. So we can go ahead and start doing this. There's a dude here. Just chop him up. That's the Mail Breaker. It's pretty pointless, but it is really low on weight, so if you give it something like a simpler... Maybe it's Blessed, I think, that restores HP. You can get some kind of regen back, but we're going to listen to Grey Rat here.
Ah. You know Jayla, are you? No, you're from far away. And judging by the bell, you must be some of that unkindled ash. Remarkable. If that's true, then I have a favor to ask. Below the high wall is a musty little town, not the home of any lord, just a very old settlement of undead. An old woman, Loretta, lives there. Please, give her this ring. I'm not asking for charity. In fact, I'll be sure to repay you in kind. I may be a petty thief, but I've more wits than most royalty. What do you say then, huh? Very well. I humbly place my faith in you. I give to your pop.
Alright, so he's looking for a woman on the high wall, so we'll keep that in mind when we go there. He's going to give us the blue tear stone ring, which I suppose I could equip. I usually don't, but it's essentially the inverse of the red tear stone ring, and you're going to get a buff to defense while your health is at a very low percent. I can't remember if it's a quarter or 15% or 10 or what. I haven't actually done any RTSR stuff in Dark Souls 3. I did a lot of RTSR setups for Black Knight Halberd in Dark Souls 1, but I don't actually use the ring in 3. I messed up the plunge. Yeah, that's alright. Just chop him up. Yep. Nice. I'm actually surprised I had the wherewithal to recognize that I was out of stamina there. I kind of wasn't paying attention. We're going to grab this item as well, which we skipped earlier. These are some black fire bombs. We're actually going to take the fast way down. I'm not too concerned with the amount of Estus I have. We're going to fight this Wing Knight. We'll grab our souls and then we'll fight this Wing Knight. No point in throwing them away, I suppose, if I do end up losing to that knight. I would say, personally, the Wing Knight is a little less threatening than the Lothric Knights in this area. You can definitely get caught, though. Where did it follow me? Oh, it's below me. Excellent. Great. Good damage. We're gonna backstab him. On wake up, we're gonna give him some chops too. Ooh. Actually, you don't hit that hard at all. What am I panic rolling for? Never mind, guys. These guys aren't that threatening at all. I really thought they... Aw, no lucky drops. I really thought it hit harder than that. How strange. And then that item over there in the corner is the rapier. I don't really need it. And if you're doing a strength build, you don't really need it either. So we're just going to leave it. I don't really see a point in activating that shortcut. I think we can take Bort with 3 Estus and some health missing pretty handily. So hopefully that sentence doesn't come back to bite me, but we'll just run back over here if so. I don't even really care that I didn't open up the shortcut. I'll show you guys that after this boss fight. We will go ahead and Ember up since we're deciding to come in here short on Estus. And then right before we reach this door, I'm going to pop a gold pine resin on our non-dark axe, and I'm going to let this cutscene play out. Alright guys, so this is Bort of the Boreal Valley. This is going to be our first real boss. I may be a little quiet here because my last fight with Bort was probably my worst one I've ever had, so we're just going to try to actually play the game here. My advice for Bort is just wait for movement and roll, same thing as the Mimic. Usually you're wanting to roll into Bort. In stage 2, or in phase 2 though, you're not going to want to be under him quite as much because you'll get frostbitten. We use the momentum of our axe there to dodge that attack. Alright. So in phase 2, you want to roll against him twice and with him once. So since he already did one, we're going to go with him this time. Yep. He's going to start breathing. Now I actually find it unlucky to get a stagger right here because then Bort may start charging again. But that should be it. There you go. I think I got hit one time, but overall pretty solid Bort fight. Bort usually isn't too much trouble once you have this pine resin or the deep axe. I don't know. I've just done Bort so many times, I don't really know what advice to give you guys for Bort. I will say I find it helpful to roll to his left, and often I do the fight completely unlocked. That time I just chose to stay locked on. But most of the time I won't lock on for that fight. Now we'll talk to Emma up here. She's going to give us an item for progression, and she's also going to lie to us, and then I will show you guys that shortcut I was talking about. If you come up here, you can get the Lucerne, another reoccurring weapon in the Dark Souls series. I'm not a huge fan of halberd class weapons in DS3. The Split Leaf and the Black Knight are the 2 notable ones, I think, and then Gundyrs can be pretty good in PvP. But I don't actually use Lucerne. But if you were curious where to get a more strength-based halberd, I believe, because we picked up a normal one, right? So they have the same scaling right now, but I believe Lucerne gets better scaling and strength later. I'm going to let Emma speak, though.
The wait has been long, unkindled one. I am Emma, High Priestess of Lothric Castle. Allow me to speak frankly. You will not find the Lords of Cinder here. They have left, gone, to their churning homes, converging at the base of this castle. Head to the bottom of the high wall.
So that's Emma. She's a liar. She's only half telling the truth. She knows for a fact that there's a Lord of Cinder here, and we're going to kill her for being an old liar, so. And then you're going to get to see another cutscene. I do have a bone, right? Yeah. If you're going to do what I'm doing here, make sure you have a homeward bone, unless you're insane, so we're just going to go ahead and beat up Emma.
What on earth?
Give her the double axe treatment.
Whatever is this?
I know it's faster if I just two-hand the one axe, but I don't know. Something about this is...
It must be.
Come on. Come on, guys.
My...
So we're going to grab this basin of vows, and we're going to walk up to this statue. Man, I love that cutscene. All right, so we're gonna go back to Vort's bonfire, and then I'll show you guys a bit of lore real quick if you're interested in that stuff. There's a pretty obvious connection between Vort and the dancer, but I think that Vort's soul gives a little bit of insight that's kind of cool. So we'll go ahead and read that, then I'll run straight over. In fact, I'll pull that up while we're going to the cutscene, and we can just read that while I walk. Should be here. All right. So, Soul of Vort of the Boreal Valley. Vort served as an outrider knight, never far from the fleeting dancer. So, a little bit of a cheeky thing there by Miyazaki, letting you know that the dancer and Vort are never far apart. So, if you pay a lot of attention, you may have known, or at least sussed out that that was a boss fight up there. And we're gonna grab that soul from earlier. Yep. Dodge that. See, I know this Lothric knight is behind me, but we're gonna run up to an elevator, and he's not gonna catch us. So, yeah. This person may? No, he's facing the wrong way. No chance, we're straight out of here. Alright, then I will... Oh, he actually did catch us once. Once I get up here, I will head us back to the unattended graves, and we will end this episode by killing the lizard. I really would like to give the Undead Settlement its own episode, or two, because I think there's a lot of useful stuff and a lot of cool things in the Undead Settlement, so we're going to cut this one off at the end of the high wall. Depending on how long the recording's been going for, because I don't want the high wall to drag on forever, we may go over and kill the second Puzz of Man over there. I guess the first one, in terms of ones you would encounter if we don't count Gundyr. There we go. But the one in the high wall that you can take out will give you the longbow as well. So we're going to go to the Cemetery of Ash. No, we'll kill this lizard. We'll head back to Firelink, level up, and then I will kill that second Puzz of Man off of camera. But the way I recommend taking on that second one is with those black firebombs you picked up from that ledge, and then the one remaining firebomb that will most likely be enough to kill that first one, and that'll grant you another Titanite Shard and an Ember, and that should bring us pretty close to 6. Yep. I'm not certain if I missed one, or if I normally get the 6th one in the Undead Settlement, but 6 Titanite Shards will allow you to upgrade your weapon of choice twice. You can either choose to hold on to those until we get to a better strength weapon, or go ahead and upgrade your deep axe. You know what? Yes, we're just going to backstab this guy. Alright, and I actually find the lizard to be kind of difficult, hence why I put on a shield. They're not too hard, but they do have a couple quick swipe attacks that can be a bit of a pain, and some AoEs that have not the most excellent hitboxes sometimes. So we're just going to chop on him though. I recommend rotating left. I recommend rotating left against a lot of enemies. I'm not sure if Miyazaki coded like bias for right-handed people or something, but I tend to find that going left makes things quite a bit easier than going right. Actually, the lizard's probably better unlocked. So we're just going to... Yep. Now that stagger there is pretty hard to take advantage of if you're not directly in front of the lizard, so I'm not going to stress it at all. That's also a tip for you guys. If you play Unlocked, I found a lot of the times bosses and mini-bosses and strong enemies like this just won't hit you at all. We're going to roll that inwards. That's the swipe anytime he goes out like that. I'm not certain if it's because all their combos were made for like that radial movement of the lock-on system, but if you unlock, they tend to miss you quite a bit. I know in New Game Plus this is a stone plate ring, but it may be a soul. Yep, alright, so that's a soul for now. We'll head back to Firelink. I'll show you what to do with these 13,000-ish souls, and then I will end this one here. And I'll pick you guys back up right at Vort's bonfire for episode 3. Alright, so let's check out our stats right now. I'm actually going to take just a second here to look up what it is that the War Pick needs exactly. War Pick. Just to make sure I breach the scaling for my own weapon, because I normally don't level dex pretty much at all, except for whatever my weapon's requirements are. Okay, no, we're sitting plenty fine in terms of dex for me. Off by 1, actually, off by 1. So I'm going to put 1 point into dex, and I'm going to put most of the rest into endurance and vitality. Yep, just like that. How many can we get in endurance here? Ooh, I don't like the odd number. We're going to do 16 endurance and 12 vitality. I also took my strength up to 10. So if you're following my exact build, you should be 20, 6, 16, 12, 16, 10, and these bottom 3 are irrelevant for us.
Farewell, Ashen Morning.
All right, and that'll be it for episode 2. I'm hoping that's a bit longer than the first one, but that it didn't drag out too long. We got a boss kill and a couple cool cutscenes, and when I see you guys next, I will be back at Bort's bonfire, right at the end of the high wall.